Welcome to CNET's live coverage of Microsoft's September event. Today we're expecting something to do with new Surface devices. I'm Maya Zakhtar alongside Lexi Savides and Bridget Carey. Let's give you a rundown of today's plan. We'll be talking about what to expect from today's event. Then we'll stream Microsoft's event live. Then it's back here to dig into all the news. If you guys have any questions or comments about what's coming up from Microsoft, let us know. Tweet us with the hashtag CNETLive or put a comment in YouTube. We'll be watching those as the time goes on. All right, so Microsoft didn't do a big teaser or anything fancy for this event. This is what we got. Let's take a look at this invite. It says, join us to see what's next. It's a little save the date and a looping video of a Surface device with a kickstand attached to a keyboard. There's also some little sparkles coming off it or something. That's kind of neat. So that's all that Microsoft has officially mentioned. So let's start off with the Surface Duo, shall we? You guys know the Duo. It's the dual screen Android device from Microsoft. This was introduced in late 2019 and it was released in late 2020. It cost $1,400, which was a real problem because the Surface Duo was buggy, stuck with LTE, and had a just okay camera. You can find it now for around $400. At this point, Samsung has released 3 generations of its Fold, so the next Duo better be good, right? Lex, what do you think the next Duo needs to accomplish?
So I feel like the Duo was a little bit misunderstood by many people, myself included. You know, I bought it, I've reviewed it, and I've used it for a long time. I think the real thing is that the Surface, the original, the version 1, felt like a Surface more than a phone. It kind of felt like the phone stuff was tacked on afterwards. As you said, it was missing a lot of key features, you know, namely like things like no NFC. The cameras were really poor. You know, it was running an older version of Android. The interface didn't look particularly snazzy. And of course, the performance was kind of a little all over the place. Apps weren't optimized. So I feel like the Surface Duo 2 really needs to kind of fulfill the promise of what the Duo can be actually as a phone. And by that, obviously adding things like 5G capabilities, adding potentially better cameras, because I feel like that was one of the biggest downsides of the original Duo. Even though I think a lot of people bought it primarily for productivity, there was a lot of people, myself included, that wanted to use it more as a phone. So I'm not expecting anything particularly different in terms of the form factor. But really what I want to see is Microsoft really pushing this as something that can be, say, going up against the world of foldable phones, but it's a slightly different design, obviously, and a slightly different use case. But I do want it to be a viable option. As you mentioned, you know, Samsung's got 3 generations of the Fold. The Duo, the other big problem when it was first released was the price. You know, $1,400 was very, very expensive. That being said, the Z Fold 2 debuted at $2,000, so it wasn't without precedent it was that expensive. But I think for a lot of people coming to it, looking at it as potentially a phone rather than kind of a mini productivity device, it was way too expensive. And, you know, I haven't seen any Duos out in the wild apart from like tech reviewers. I'm sure they are out there. And obviously we've been in a pandemic, so it's been a little difficult trying to kind of see these devices in the wild. But I really hope that Microsoft does focus more on the phone elements and maybe less so on it being a Surface, if that makes sense.
Hey, Bridget, what do you think the Surface Duo has got to do to make waves? Because it's got a lot of competition. It's a weird form factor. And obviously the first generation was, you heard what Lexi said.
Yeah. It's interesting to hear that, like, Lexi's like, lean more into the phone part, because wasn't it the whole messaging like, don't call it a phone, guys? Because I think they knew that part was lacking. And you know, we do give this first generation a hard time because it was so wonky. And then yet we've seen folding phones from Samsung not have the greatest first generation moments. So will people want to give this a chance? And it is going to be different going up against all these new Samsung folding phones when it's got a big old crease in the center, because it's to be thought of differently, right? Like if you wanted to get the fold or the flip from Samsung, you know, you have this smooth screen that really gives you that benefit of having, oh, look, my screen folds out. I can see more here. Whereas with the Duo, you're going to get a big hinge in the middle. Now it looks beautiful, right? Like you just want to like open and close it like a tiny little book to take all your notes. So yeah, they really got to sell the productivity part. I don't know if they necessarily need to sell the camera side of it. but certainly there needs to be some upgrade there because of what was going on last year. I just want to see it work. Like I have high hopes for it. Like, come on, Microsoft. I just want to root for them because it seems fun to have something like this in your pocket to be a productivity tool. I just think they really got to sell us on why I would use this and still carry around a phone, because I don't think it's going to replace a phone.
Well, there's been lots of leaks, or actually a couple of leaks on the next Surface Duo for the past few months. We've got images that first appeared on the YouTube channel TechRat. You know, everybody knows TechRat, but I'll tell you what, Windows Central said that these images were the real deal. They had images of the device that looked like the original Duo. This could be the Duo 2. And you're seeing a massive camera bump on one side. That thing would house 3 cameras. Now, like I said, Windows Central said these images were the real deal. So, Bridget, we were talking about cameras there. What do we think of this look?
Ugh. Is that an answer? Ugh. So what is that bump? I do not like the bump, the lump, the hump. No. What, and how are you going to close that? Maybe they lean too hard into the desire to be the everything camera, like the latest Samsung and iPhones. Because if you're getting this device, wait, do you really even need like that many cameras? I mean, look at the iPad Mini. That's a great productivity device, and they don't have all that going on in the back. So maybe there's a bit of an identity crisis where it's trying to figure out what it can do and why it needs to have all of that camera power. I just want to see the screen work well. We don't need another device that's expensive to take pictures.
Now, for those of you thinking, hey, maybe that's a really old prototype and it doesn't look very good, so maybe it'll be better in the long run, Windows Central said that those images were of a near final prototype. So that might be the thing we'll see today. Lex, what do you think of this?
You know, it's funny, Bridget, you're not all into the cameras. I definitely am. But I think that I am very much in that rare use case of Duo potential users that are interested in using it more as a phone rather than a productivity tool. I think for me, what's most interesting is going to be how this is actually going to be usable, you know, in one hand. Are you going to be able to say, like, the thing is with the original Duo, it was very clumsy and cumbersome to take photos in the configuration that it was in with the cameras. So, you know, will the second generation kind of be able to fix that and resolve that? Maybe potentially you could kind of use it like a kickstand, a little bit like how you can use the Z Fold line of phones, a little bit like that, to kind of use a makeshift tripod. The other thing I think that we kind of need to touch on a little bit is the screen configuration. I think the Duo, that was a big strength, was obviously having those 2 separate screens that you could also unite as one. I think some of the leaks and renders kind of show potentially like a little curved edge down into the hinge. I think that's actually, if that is true, and if we actually see something like that actually might make the user experience very pleasant, and see how it actually is going to look as the 2 screens kind of converge in one, rather than kind of having that as kind of 2 disparate sides of the original Duo. And of course, the bezels were a big part of the original, that I understand why they were there. And I love the aspect ratio of the original Duo, 4:3, especially for things like reading and documents and productivity. But in terms of actually using it for other functions, maybe not so much. So I would also love to see the bezels reduced. But, you know, as I know you've used the original a lot, and I know you love it probably a little bit more than I do. Do these kind of get you excited, these rumors and leaks and, you know, potential images of what it could be in version 2?
The design doesn't get me excited any more than the first one. I definitely have played with the original Surface Duo. I love it as a concept. I think it's a great idea. In execution, I have found it to be very buggy. As Lex, as you were mentioning, if you want to take a picture, you have to like fold the thing back because there's only one front-facing camera, so you turn so the screens are like facing outward. And you use that as the camera. It's a little bit strange at first, but it's a strange device. I will say the fit and finish is fantastic. It feels really solid. It feels like a premium device. When they were charging $1,400 for this device, I could totally understand why. It is so thin. I can't believe it's real. It does not feel like an actual product that exists in this timeline. But it also was introduced in 2019. And in 2020, it shows up with those big bezels and LTE. And that seems like, why are those things going on? Slower processors. But there was also just recently a leak of the FCC documents, maybe, of the Surface Duo 2, which would have some specs that might talk to these problems. Now, the fine folks at Windows Central found this. The Duo 2 would support Wi-Fi 6, have NFC, like Lexi was talking about, ultra wideband, likely for accessories, 5G, go figure, in 2021, and wireless power transfer. Now, Windows Central said that its sources have not confirmed that this is Qi charging, but it may be a way to charge a Surface Pen, kind of like how an iPad charges an Apple Pencil. So, like, imagine the actual pen, like, sticking to this thing magnetically. Easy for me to say, magnetically. Lex, what do you think of these potential specs?
I mean, it really has to have top of the line specs to compete. You know, as you mentioned, you know, the first generation didn't really wow anybody. A couple of things, you know, obviously if it's running Snapdragon 888, that's, you know, the most current Snapdragon, which is something I'm pleased about. The NFC is, you know, a no-brainer must have. The wireless charging and the wireless power transfer is interesting. Obviously, you know, many on the Android side, you know, we have the Samsung phones with wireless power transfer as well. I hope that there is something similar on the new Duo. The other thing is, you know, Android 11. This one's going to be interesting because, you know, the original Duo didn't get, you know, many updates for a long time. So considering that 12 is right around the corner, I hope that there is a roadmap where we hear some sort of information about when we can expect that update rolled out soon. You know, as you know, it's a lot dependent on the manufacturer. So fingers crossed that we kind of see that sooner rather than later. You know, overall, I think this is something that Microsoft has to do to keep it current and keep it, you know, something that people are going to be looking at as a viable alternative to potentially something like a Fold, even though I kind of think that they are sort of two different use cases and two different audiences. But I think for, you know, getting the name out into the market more so than the Duo originally did, I think it has to have these kind of top line specs to stay competitive. 8 gigs of RAM is the rumored kind of RAM on the device. I think that's fine. You know, we're seeing, like, I would like a little bit more. Who wouldn't like, you know, at least 12 gigs? Mm-hmm. But at least I think that Microsoft is taking a step in the right direction, and, you know, we're just going to have to wait and see.
So, Bridget, what did you think of those specs? Potential specs, excuse me.
The power transfer is interesting. I know there's been some buzz, like, does that have anything to do with maybe transferring power to like a stylus? I'm curious if that is even in the cards or will be discussed at all as an option, if this is something that is like a productivity tool. Bottom line, I want to see this in action on stage. I want to see more examples of software working smoothly, because it's one of those devices that is so cool and different. I'm rooting for them to kind of convince me that this is a new way of thinking about getting my work done. I just don't know if they can pull that off.
Taking a look at the chat, somebody was asking, is this device going to be water resistant? Now, I haven't heard anything about that, but that is something that Microsoft had to think about, considering Samsung turned up everything with the Fold 3 and the Flip 3. Those two foldables are water resistant. So if they are charging for a premium device, it's kind of a hard sell at this point to not have water resistance. We'll have to see how that goes. I don't believe the original Surface Duo had an IP rating, but I could be wrong about that. If I'm wrong, I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments. But let's talk a little bit about the Surface Pro, because that is like one of the original tablets made by Microsoft. The Surface Pro 7 was released in October of 2019. Then in January of this year, Microsoft released the Surface Pro 7 Plus. This was the first time there was a Plus version of the Surface Pro. This thing was pretty much the 7 with an LTE option, new Intel chips inside, more RAM options, and more storage. And it looked really quiet on the Surface Pro front until this past Monday. Over on Twitter, a user by the name of @shadow_leak posted what could be an ad for the Surface Pro 8. I'm going to take a look at it right there. There's the tweet. Now, it's getting a lot of coverage. It may be the real deal. It may not be, but let's look at the tweet and see what it says. It says it's got Intel's 11th generation core processor, a 13-inch, 120 hertz, high refresh rate, narrow border screen, Windows 11, dual Thunderbolt interfaces, replaceable SSD hard drives. Lex, if this is the Surface Pro 8, or whatever they're going to call it, what do you think of these specs? Because I have some strong opinions.
Well, I can't wait to hear your strong opinions. I think the thing that excites me the most is the potential of the high refresh rate screen, you know, the dynamic refresh rate that potentially could be able to adapt from 60 hertz all the way through to 120 hertz, depending on what you're doing. Maybe it might not be 120, maybe it might be 90 hertz. So I guess we still have to wait and see. I think there, obviously, that's the big trend that we're seeing over the past few years. You know, Samsung and Android phones had that with the S21 Ultra. The Note 20 Ultra also had that, but it wasn't able to sort of stick in 120 at the highest resolution, which I know I have thoughts about that too, but that's for another show. And, you know, obviously Apple this year with the ProMotion on the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. So I'd like to see this coming across to, you know, the laptop range, especially on the Surface Pro, not laptop, you know what I mean, convertibles. So I think that's, for me, the most exciting feature. The 11th gen Intel chips, it's kind of, you know, Microsoft kind of confuses me with the timing and release of the products, because we all know that 12th gen is kind of very soon around the corner. I think realistically, we probably wouldn't be able to expect those chips, or at least be able to put into devices potentially like, you know, the mobile form factors until probably, you know, early next year. But I think knowing that that's around the corner, maybe I'm a little bit disappointed about that. The Thunderbolt stuff is really interesting, though, knowing that you know, that is potentially coming. But I want to hear your thoughts, Ayaz. I feel like you're ready to go into either rant or rave about this.
It's rave, so it's not going to be a rant of negativity whatsoever. If it's Intel's 11th generation core processor, based on what you were saying, Lex, I'm thinking about this. If I'm Microsoft and I'm making a product and I want to make sure the battery life is great and my OS is optimized for it, I can't use the cutting edge stuff right away, assuming, you know, I know obviously Microsoft gets stuff ahead of time, but this product, when it hits market, will be able to run Windows 11 from the start. It'll be optimized for this processor. So you're going to get more performance, I'd imagine, if you have full control and you've had more access to this processor. Same thing with any apps and programs that run on this machine. The 13-inch monitor with the high refresh rate. First, I want to talk about the narrow borders. The Surface device, I've been staring at the Surface Pro for a long time, and I just can't get over these massive, massive bezels. They have these like just big chunky things, and I kept staring at the Pro X. Now, the Pro X runs an ARM chip, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Windows on ARM right now and the programs running on ARM are not really great. It's a problem. It's not, the developers have not reached a level where the apps are running at the same speed as they do the Intel ones. So I can't look at the Pro X for any serious use. But the Pro has an Intel chip, so you can run everything. A nicer, sleeker device makes a much easier purchase decision for me. The 120 hertz refresh rate, I'm all on board with that. Windows 11 does have support for dynamic refresh rates in general, so this would be a great showcase for that. Also, I love drawing on things. I have a Note 20. I have an iPad Pro. I like to be able to draw and write my thoughts out. A Surface Pro that has a high refresh rate is going to have a lot more responsiveness when you're drawing on the screen. That's how I think. That's what I really like. So I'm excited about that too. So I think those two things right there are great. Thunderbolt. Freaking fantastic if this is true, because the Surface Pro is really powerful, but the specs are kind of lagging. Thunderbolt gives you access to so many more peripherals and much more power. And if it's the latest Thunderbolt, you've got some real speeds going on when you're transferring stuff back and forth. And the Surface Pro, if it's going to be like almost your everything device, it needs to be able to do everything. And instead of using that weird Surface dock connector thing, which I don't really want to use, it would be really nice if Thunderbolt's on there, because that makes it a lot faster. And that also makes it a little bit more future-proof. If you're going to buy something now, you're going to have it for 2 or 3 years. It should be able to do the latest and greatest for a while. The replaceable SSD hard drives, all for that. Nothing bad about that. So absolutely, I think mostly rave, Lexi. Bridget, what do you think about this? Because like I was saying before, I think it looks really slick if this is real. We don't know if it's real. What do you think about the looks, the specs, or any of the Surface Pro 8 information?
The looks, I mean, come on, it's always the same every year, really. If you're just glancing at it, like, okay, you know, it still has a kickstand and the separate keyboard and the separate, all the other accessories I have to buy. I want to see how this is going to compare in terms of battery life with other devices. Maybe we actually have a Twitter question from Mohammed IBM1. He says, are they going to release a new Surface Go? That's been, you know, also buzzed about. And is there going to be a new take on the Pro X, like you talked about with the ARM chip? So I, as you know, someone who's not sure, like I'm not going to be a power user. I'm not going to use a lot of gaming on this. So where does it fit in the whole family of Surfaces right now. And obviously it's going to be a power horse if like, you know, all those specs are true, but I just kind of want to know where the other ones fit in for people, because I would like to see something like a Surface Go that is more affordable, but also starts at a price with some decent memory on it.
Yeah, so the Go 3 is rumored to come out. No, sorry, the next Go is rumored to come out today with upgraded internals, but pretty much nothing else. And the Go starts off as an affordable price, I think under $400. So I don't know if there's going to be any major bumps up there. I think the Pro is going to be the big splashy one. Although, you know, I do want to talk a little bit about the Surface Book, because there's so many different surfaces. Because we talked about the Go, the Pro, the X, the regular Pro, the Plus. Why is there a Plus? Anyway, the Surface Book. Now, that's the one that has the screen that can be detached, right? So if you want to use it as a tablet, you can do that. If you want to use a laptop, you just reattach it. Now, a recent patent filing has people excited. We're going to show you what this patent filing looks like, because people think that this patent, this is going to be the design for the new Surface Book. If you take a look at it, it was first found by Windows United.de. You can see the device with a wild hinge. You unfold the machine. You can use it like a regular clamshell laptop. But the hinge lets you pull the screen down at an angle. It kind of looks like an iPad with a Magic Keyboard, a Surface Studio, you know, the thing that did it a long time ago. It's not clear if the screen can lay flat, so you can use the device like a slate. Here we go. You can see this screen at an angle, like an artist table. It's just really a wild design, but we've seen Microsoft. They're not afraid of wild. Lex, do you think we could see something like this today?
Oh, I really hope so. This actually has me very excited. You know, I've used the original Surface Book for quite some time, and I think anyone who's used a Surface Book knows that when you detach it into a tablet, you know, the performance is kind of a little bit sad. It's not as great. So I feel like the this integrated design, where it kind of gives you that same effect, but without necessarily detaching completely, will kind of solve that issue in terms of performance, potentially. I think that this is great. It's kind of like a mini Surface Studio, and I think it gives a lot of options there. It also reminds me, it's a little bit retro. It kind of reminds me of, do you remember the Vio Flip? And there's an HP Studio, I've forgotten the model name. Anyway, but it's a very similar kind of configuration. And I think that there's a lot of potential here, not just for, you know, traditional laptop owners, maybe even for artists as well, and people looking for a device that has a lot of different potential configurations. I think it's kind of like, you know, a bit of a love child of all of the Surface devices in one, and I think that there is a really interesting potential here, and I hope it's real. I really hope that we get something like this. I think that would be the star of the show for me, and it does get me a little bit more excited about Surface devices again too.
One of the downsides of the book, like you were mentioning, when you detach the screen, what you're doing is you're basically removing the GPU. The discrete GPU is in the keyboard side, I believe. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong about that. So you lose some power, and you lose some battery power as well, because now you're splitting the device. If you have one device that's all attached, even with that wild hinge, well, you could keep all that power, and also you don't need to have such a thick monitor, because if you looked at the Surface Book, the monitor side is pretty much a tablet, so it's got to house all that stuff. It's also going to have a heat generation, all of those side effects of making a detachable device would disappear if you can make this convertible something like this. I don't know if we'll see something like this. I hope if they do make this, it would look like you were saying, the Studio, like Studio Junior. I think it'd be a really cool device. Bridget, what do you think of the Surface Book? Do you think that this is the future, or do you think people should just be like, forget the book, just go to a laptop, it's over?
I think they should call it Studio Junior. It's such a cute name. I loved this studio when it came out. I got to see it at the event. I never got to play with it after the event because that thing is huge, but it was just such a cool concept. I wonder if we're going to even hear about any new takes on it, or if this is the next iteration of that concept, but in a more compact form. Yes, bottom line, let's stop with the pluses and go more with Junior. It's just, and no more minis, just Junior. Who doesn't want to buy a little computer called Junior?
Oh no. I believe there was a video game system with Junior. I want to say it's Commodore. Somebody find that for me, because that's a real thing. And, you know, we were talking about all the different surfaces before. I want to go on a small little rant. I want to see the Surface Neo, Brian, if you could bring up the footage of the Surface Neo, that'd be great. The Surface Neo was this dual-screened Windows laptop, Intel-based. This was shown off in 2019. It was supposed to be running Windows 10X. Windows 10X is dead, by the way. Microsoft killed it, and they said they took parts of it and put in Windows 11. I want this thing to be real. Yes, the bezels are a little bit large, but it also had this really cool keyboard attachment where you could magnetically attached, and they had this thing called the Wonder Bar where you could have the top screen act as another screen. It was really a wild idea. I know I'm saying wild a lot because Microsoft is just not on the norm. Lexi, do you want to see the Neo or any other product from Microsoft today?
I mean, I would love to see the Neo, don't get me wrong. I probably am not as enamored with it as you are. I mean, obviously being based around Windows 10X, which is now scrapped, I feel like, you know, Microsoft kind of shelved the whole project for a little while. And obviously after the reception of the Duo came out, you know, I think there was probably a little bit of reluctance there as well. I mean, I feel like with Windows 11, obviously we're going to hear a lot about that today, but I'm expecting at least anyway. Maybe it's still on the roadmap and maybe we could still get a surprise. But I do want to give a shout out in the YouTube comments. A couple people are loving the idea of the Surface Junior. And also, so I think that was Michael, love that. And and Drew also likes LeapPad Junior. That's had a reference there too. So yeah, I think the Neo would be such an interesting product. Again, is it ready for prime time? It wasn't back then. Is it now? I think it's still shelved, but I would love to be proven wrong. Absolutely. And surprised today.
What about you, Bridget? Do you want to see new Surface earbuds? I mean, who wants to see that?
Okay, I am one of the weirdos who actually thought that the crazy Surface Buds actually had a cool design because it was something different, and I'm desperate for different. That's why I also am rooting for the Neo to see some sort of new life. But yeah, look at those earbuds. I know there's like giant discs. Maybe they'll come in cool colors. They're like basically earrings. But yeah, I want the Neo back. I want to see, of course, though, if the Neo came back, it's going to need a lot of accessories to kind of make it. It's kind of like two iPad minis stuck together. So if you can make the Duo, it just feels like the bigger version, the bigger brother of it. But right, like, wouldn't you want some keyboard attachments at a certain point, and then you start getting into that wonky territory of, well, why don't I just buy a Surface? Do I really need the dual screen? You know, so yeah, I want to see them first work on the Duo, make the Duo work, then we can talk about going a little bigger.
Yeah, I'm concerned if the Duo and Neo do exist at the same time, it's that people will expect the same experience between the two. The Duo runs Android and the Neo doesn't. It runs Windows, well, it would be Windows 11 in this case. So I think people would be kind of confused that they have similar names, similar looks, and Microsoft would have to do something which it has difficulty with. And yes, I'm saying something negative about Microsoft. When it comes to educating the consumer, they sometimes have a hard time explaining, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is different. We know it's different, but here's why. But a Duo and Neo with a similar look, I can imagine people having a lot of confusion. And like you guys were saying, it being scrapped officially, I want to believe. I just really want to believe in something cool. We've got less than, it looks like 40 seconds, 50 seconds before the Microsoft event is about to start. So I'm going to start saying some stuff. We're going to be taking you there live. So don't go anywhere. But we'll also be back with a post show. We're going to recap, analyze all the news, tweet your thoughts, questions with the hashtag CNET Live. We'll be checking the YouTube chat the whole time, and we'll just be waiting and taking notes the whole time. I can't wait to see this. I'm really, really hoping for something cool. We've seen some, I'm going to say it, the Apple event was boring. So this is going to be the big one. Anyone taking me up on that?
Wild card here. Wild card. Are we going to see HoloLens? Maybe. Maybe this is the time. I don't know.
HoloLens 3.
Maybe a reference.
We're just calling it.
Yeah.
Lexi with silent emoji. Very strong play.
Silent emoji. Well, you know, I mean, HoloLens to me, I feel like is moving all into the enterprise now. So I think we'll see something maybe about that. Consumer applications, maybe not so much. But I'm willing to be surprised. Why not?
So let's be surprised together. Let's see what happens.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. wherever you may be in the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. Just a couple of months ago, we were here on this stage together with you, sharing the new vision for Windows 11. And the response has been incredible. Thank you. I mean, I have to say, the Windows insiders, devs, everyone, the fans hosting Windows 11, it has been incredible. It's inspiring to all of us. Are you kidding me? I mean, it really is something that drives us. Now, Windows is a driving force for innovation. It's an enduring platform for each one of us to create. And it's home for billions to do their jobs, live their dreams, connect with the people they love. Windows 11 gives you a place that feels like home. It's an area of calm, security, openness, and it's designed to be centered around you. And when you use it, you will feel that. You really will. But to bring it to life, to use it, you have to put it in your hands. And really, that's all about the hardware. It's about the hardware completing that magical experience. Now, you've seen, and hopefully you've seen, some amazing Windows 11 devices from Asus, HP, Lenovo, and more coming soon from partners like Acer and Dell and Samsung. Each are critical, each one of them critical to bringing Windows 11 to life. And there is some amazing innovation in these products. It's just awesome. Now today, we're going to show you innovation across the Surface product line. Now from the beginning, Surface has always been a stage for software and hardware to come together. For the last 10 years, it's been a force for revolution in this industry, creating products that push the boundaries of what's possible. With Surface and Windows, businesses have changed the way they work. People have moved the world forward with their ideas, with their inventions. Poetry has been written, games created. Students have learned, teachers have taught. People have connected across countries, time zone, from their homes, from their offices. For us, for me, I mean, isn't that what it's all about? And it comes from how you feel when you use our devices. When the technology disappears into the background, helping you get into your flow, helping you get to that moment where your inspiration strikes, where you can just create. And there shouldn't be, and there's nothing between you and your ideas. When we can see that, when your idea flows from your mind, through your heart, out your hands, when your creation comes out on that canvas, we talk about products being a reflection of the people who make them and use them. And in turn, what inspires me is seeing how you change the world with what you create. It's why every single Surface is built to uniquely adapt to each one of us. It's why every single detail matters. From the tiniest hinge to every pixel you will see on the display, to every piece of the experience that flows across Windows 11. All of it, every part of it is designed to bring your creations, your learnings, your musing, your visions to life through an elegant dance of the hardware and software coming together. And today, we're going to challenge convention yet again, introducing you to 8 new devices and accessories that are all built hand in hand with Windows 11, lighting up amazing experiences across Microsoft 365, Edge, Teams, Game Pass, all your favorite apps. I can't tell you how pumped I am for you to see these devices, for you to get your hands on them. I mean, seriously, they really will light the room up. We have a new Surface Go for families, frontline workers, and for amazing entertainment. We have a transformed Surface Pro lineup. It brings you incredible power and modern design, and the details throughout this product are surreal, resulting in a product that feels magical. I mean, it's gotta be one of my favorite Surface ever made. We'll also show you what's next for our dual screen devices and apps with Surface Duo 2. Critical for a changing world as we continue to see people every single day needing to be more productive on their mobile devices. And sometimes, it's the smallest details. We've said the smallest details that can have the biggest impact. And you're gonna see this with our brand new Surface Adaptive Kit and our Oceans plastic mouse. In fact, every product you'll see today was designed by a team thinking and focusing on both accessibility and sustainability to help all of us collectively rise to the challenge of building an inclusive and accessible future for all of us, for everyone. We crafted each product to adjust to the way you work, learn, and play. Because Surface itself is original by design. It is built for you. It's built for everyone. And actually, it's built for anyone who has the future in mind. Now, to begin this journey today, I want to introduce you to Peter Kiriakou. He's here to tell you about the innovations in our 2-in-1 line. And if you stick around until the end, I'll have one more pretty cool product probably to share with you.
I'm here in our design studio on campus. In this room, we built the first generation of Surface Pro, designed for Windows with touch. And today, 9 years later, we're pushing the boundaries again. I'd like to introduce the ultimate 2-in-1, Surface Pro 8. This is Surface Pro 8, purpose-built for Windows 11. This device combines the power of a laptop with the flexibility of a tablet and every angle in between. We're bringing the best of our Surface Pro heritage to life in a new design, built on the Intel Evo platform with quad-core 11th Gen Intel processing and an innovative thermal design. It keeps the device thin, light, and productive, delivering over 43% more compute power and 75% faster graphics than Surface Pro 7. And we're bringing up to 32 gigs of RAM and high-speed Thunderbolt 4 connectivity. All this with 16 hours of battery life. This makes Surface Pro 8 the most powerful 2-in-1 in the market. This innovation matters. It keeps you productive. It keeps you connected. With the iconic full-range kickstand and detachable keyboard, studio microphones, and a front-facing camera, not on the side, but centered right where it should be. It lets you pick just the right angle to look and sound your best when you're on a Teams call or a Zoom call. Dolby Atmos creates an immersive sound that's nothing like you've heard from a 2-in-1 before. Now, I want to talk to you about this beautiful high-resolution 13-inch pixel sense display with super thin bezels and over 5.5 million pixels, Dolby Vision, 120 Hz refresh rate, and for the first time, we're bringing adaptive color technology, which naturally adjusts to the color, temperature, and lighting of your environment. And it really shines with cloud gaming on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Just grab your controller or use the touch controls and play Psychonauts 2 and over 100 console games from anywhere. Now, it's not just about viewing and gaming, but the screen is also about great pen and touch. We're excited to announce Surface Slim Pen 2. With magnetic storage and charging, your pen is always with you, and it's always ready when you have that instant thought or a moment of inspiration. And when you pick up your pen, Windows 11 brings up a customizable pen menu that gets you inking and into your flow quickly. Another big part of our product development includes custom silicon, a processor we call Microsoft G6. When your pen hits the canvas, the G6 processor and Windows 11 come to life. And for the first time with digital ink, there's tiny mechanical vibrations that mimic the feel of pen on paper, sending tactile signals through the touch receptors in your fingertips. It's a subtle interaction that makes a huge difference. With our sharper pen tip, zero pressure force, and ultra-low latency, Surface Slim Pen 2 and Pro 8 bring you exceptional accuracy, smoother flow, and greater control. Okay, You can tell I really love this pen and Surface Pro 8. I think the experiences are incredible. Now, I want to introduce you to an expert creator. Alexandria, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Pete. As an illustrator, I'm honestly loving the new Pro and pen. I spend a lot of time outdoors painting with traditional tools, mostly watercolor or pastel, but it's a lot of setup. And so I've always wanted a portable digital device that would allow me to start paintings on the go, but then take them back into the studio to finalize them. The Pro is super lightweight and portable. It feels like a sketchbook or a journal that I would normally carry with me. I also love how the pen is always there, charged and ready, so I won't lose it. Here's a nature journal that I started working on the other day in Adobe Fresco. The pen is smooth and accurate, there's no delays or lag, and the sharp tip feels really precise and responsive. It's also, honestly, the most comfortable digital pen that I've used. The tactile signals are such a nice addition. I didn't even realize that when I use a paintbrush on paper, I actually get some feedback from the brush itself. And that's how this feels. It's natural, subtle, and it helps me connect with the painting like I would with a brush on paper. When I'm not outdoors, I'm in studio creating high-resolution images for children's books and games that sometimes have a ton of layers. So I need powerful imaging software like Adobe Photoshop or Blender. This is the first portable device that I've used that can handle my professional workflow. It still runs like a dream when I'm stress testing images at 300 dpi with hundreds of layers. The keyboard allows me to use all of the keybinds that I've grown to rely on as a professional artist. So I can take this from a casual tablet to a portable workstation in seconds. The Surface Pro 8 and the Surface Slim Pen 2 save me time and help me stay in my creative flow, and I'm excited to keep building them into my process.
Thanks, Alexandria. The partnership between Microsoft and Adobe brings productivity and creativity together, creating these truly inspiring scenarios. We continue to push experiences on pen to help people be more creative, and also bring new ways of communicating, being more thoughtful, more engaged. The benefits of writing with pen are incredible, from boosting memory to improving mental and physical health. Surface Pro 8 is packed full of great features, from the display to the keyboard, the performance, and the power of the pen. This is the most powerful Pro we've ever built. And for those of you who love Pro X, developers have been optimizing the app specifically for ARM. 64-bit emulation is built in, so the apps you need are ready for you. Now, the next product I want to talk to you about is our most portable 2-in-1. I want to introduce you to Surface Go 3. This is our fastest, most capable Go yet. Go 3 brings all the features that matter in a 2-in-1. And now, with 10th gen Intel processing, Surface Go is 60% faster than before. And the best part, Windows 11 makes the experience great for everyone, from frontline workers to families. To tell you more, here's David.
For the past 8 years, I've lived and worked here, from my home in Minnesota. And from here, my family and I have fun, play games, watch shows, and plan our adventures together. Today, I want to talk to you about how Surface Go and Windows 11 light up together, and some of the ways my family's been using it. Windows 11 makes it easy for my 9-year-old to do what he wants to do. My family has their own account with their apps, settings, and data. And with Windows Hello, he can sign in instantly and securely. Launching apps is effortless with touch, and it's easy for him to put them where he wants them with the Snap feature. And Windows 11 adapts to how he wants to use it. He can get everything set up just the way he likes it and switch back and forth with ease. And with cloud gaming, he can also play his favorite Xbox Game Pass games. My 7-year-old loves catching up with her cousins that live in Ireland. With Microsoft Teams chat built into Windows 11, in one touch, she can connect with them on a video call.
How are you?
When she's doing school projects, Surface Go helps her do her best work. She loves nature and she's learning how plants make oxygen for the planet. Surface Pen lets her creativity shine. Sometimes though, it can get busy at home and it can be hard to be a good parent, especially when my wife and I are both in meetings and the kids are around during the day. With Windows 11 family safety limits, the kids have the freedom to explore online while I have peace of mind. I love this family safety widget. I can swipe in and see if it's time for the kids to switch it up and have them play outside. And Microsoft Edge has this great new feature we've been using called Kids Mode. The kids can browse a bunch of awesome sites in a kid-friendly environment with built-in guardrails. When it's time to relax, we grab Surface Go to stream our favorite movies together, like Luca in the Disney Plus app. The 10.5-inch display on Surface Go is tuned for diagonal viewing, which is key when we're watching together. And with Dolby Audio, it sounds great too. I do what I can to keep my kids safe, happy, and healthy. And part of that means thinking about their future on the planet. And Microsoft's commitments to sustainability make me proud to be part of the team that's investing in a better future for them. Our vision isn't achieved through the launch of a single feature or product, but every step matters, which is why, on behalf of the team, I'm delighted to announce the Microsoft Ocean Plastic Mouse. The shell of the mouse is made up of 20% recycled ocean plastic. The box is 100% recyclable, and we make it easy to ship back an old mouse for recycling through our mail-back program. I look for any opportunity I can to talk to my kids about ways to protect the planet, and this product helps start that conversation.
Thanks, David. With Windows 11 and this new lineup, everything you love about the 2-in-1 family just got better. In addition to our desire to build great products, we're also focused on how we build them, with sustainable practices and materials like those you saw in the Ocean Plastics mouse. And we're focused on who we build them for, making sure our products are inclusive by design. To talk to you more about this, I'd like to introduce you to our fantastic research team leader, Chris.
Our mission at Microsoft is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And it's this mission that drives our dedication to inclusive design. As we build products, there is a belief that drives us. When we don't intentionally include, we unintentionally exclude. By working to try to understand the specific lived experiences of people with disabilities, we make better products. Products that are accessible by design. Products like the Xbox Adaptive Controller, which empowers gamers with limited mobility to play and connect with other gamers across the globe. But every day we are striving to learn more as we work closely and partner with people with disabilities. And today, we are excited to take the next step on that journey. Now, I want to welcome my friend and colleague, Dave Dame, to tell you more about how accessible technology has empowered him in his life.
I was born with cerebral palsy, and I use a power wheelchair. When I was born in 1971, my parents were told, Dave may not live past the age of 12. Dave may never be able to speak clearly, if at all. And even if he does, don't expect much because there's not much that someone with Dave's condition can do to have a full life. They actually advised my parents to put me in an institution. Luckily, my parents chose a different path. When I was younger, I was constantly asking myself, what do I want to be when I grow up? This year when I turned 50, I started thinking, how do I want to leave the world when I'm no longer here? I decided to pivot my career and join Microsoft on their journey to enable people like me to leverage technology to have their best lives, hopefully with a lot less struggle than I had to endure. I want to reflect the people that struggle with the things that non-disabled people have the privilege to take for granted, like opening a device, setting up their screens to create and be productive while not compromising the aesthetics in their devices, accessories, or software. It's not simply about creating accessible technology, it's about what the person can achieve and experience because of that technology.
Hi, hello, how are you?
Great to see you.
I'm so excited to see you. All right, so we're here to talk about the Surface Adaptive Kit.
It's been quite a journey for the team.
And not just the internal teams, but our partners and occupational therapists who we've worked with to really try to empower their patients and them to find more effective technology solutions.
Right, because one of the goals of occupational therapists is really to help their patients rediscover their independence in using technology or assistive technology.
And we have seen some creative solutions, everything from applying glue dots to the key set so someone who's blind can easily locate keys, to a kickstand having a hole drilled in it so someone could apply a lanyard just to open it up.
And believe it or not, I actually used to use a fork to leverage to open up my laptop screen.
And this is where we saw a real opportunity to help.
Well, let's quit talking about it. Let's show it.
Let's do it.
What I love about this is even the packaging is inclusive. What I mean is, I get to experience unboxing a new product. So I'm able to open it up. I can use the lid that instantly pulls all the cards out right away. Here you go, Chris.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, you can apply these stickers to your keyboard. It's raised so you can feel it, but also it's high contrast.
And the different shapes makes them very distinguishable from one another.
Yeah, taking you down to the keycap labels. So the keycap labels are really designed for someone who is blind. They fit perfectly on the Surface keyboards. The port labels are used for taking a label and applying it to a cable,
Yeah.
and then applying the corresponding port tab onto the device, and it just fits seamlessly into the device. And then this tab is a lanyard tab. We've attached it to the kickstand so that this can be easily pulled out with the lanyard, and you're ready to go.
That's much more elegant than using a fork.
Exactly.
It really allows people to easily, quickly modify their device, so they're spending more time using the device and less time trying to set it up. What I like about this is it allows me to have a product I can use and be proud of.
And that was the intention when we saw this as a real opportunity to provide solutions that didn't feel like people were being othered.
Exactly, because we're all going to be disabled someday, just some of us beat you to it. So when you're designing for products for someone like me today, we're actually building for our future selves. We're all going to lose our ability at some point. None of us can predict when that will happen, but when it does, I'm really glad that we're going to have products and accessories that people can use whenever and whatever they might need.
Now, inclusive design is critical to our mission. It's critical to our belief. Our products are to reflect the people that make them and the people who use them. Creating accessible products with and for people with disabilities, it starts with creating for one and extending to many. Now, we're going to continue to push ourselves to reflect the more than 1 billion people with disabilities in the world with every single product we make. Now, we've already seen a lot today, and we have a couple more awesome products to show you. This next one of my favorites, it's a mobile device at the pinnacle of productivity designed to be the perfect companion to your Windows 11 PC, and I can't wait for you to see it. Shilpa's here to introduce it to you. Enjoy.
When we launched the first Surface Duo last year, it was an introduction to an entirely new category for mobile productivity. Today, we are incredibly excited to introduce you to the next generation of Surface Duo for your life, your work, and your Surface. This is Surface Duo 2, mobile productivity powered by 2 screens with virtually unlimited postures. Having access to 2 things side by side helps me do so much more. It's just like working on my Windows PC, but with the flexibility of taking my phone wherever I go. We built this phone for people who love power, speed, and beauty.
Our team of incredible product makers at Surface obsess over every aspect of hardware and software design and continue to push the boundaries of what is possible. And that's exactly what we've done with Surface Duo 2. Our team of engineers have partnered closely with Qualcomm to build an incredibly fast and powerful dual-screen device. All of this in a product that has been meticulously crafted to become the world's thinnest 5G device. We've enclosed all of this technology in beautifully nano-coated 3D glass, and it's available in both Glacier and Obsidian tones. And when you unfold it, you'll find 2 beautiful PixelSense Fusion displays that expand to an even larger 8.3-inch display. With high refresh rate of 90 Hz, perfectly synchronized across both displays, it's generating nearly 500 million pixels per second. This makes browsing, scrolling, and writing feel exceptionally smooth. The curved displays bring the 2 sides even closer together, connected by the most precise and reliable hinge mechanism we've ever engineered at Surface. With the toughest glass from Corning protecting the displays, you can write and draw on your Surface Duo with confidence. To make sure that your Surface Slim Pen is always with you and charged, we're introducing Microsoft Surface Duo 2 Pen Cover. To help you stay in your moment and not worry about missing anything important, we've designed Surface Duo Glance Bar. You can glance to simply check time without opening your Duo, and the color-coded badges will show you how many calls and messages you have received, including Teams chat. Beautiful and subtle light glows show you incoming calls, incoming messages, and even show you how much battery you have left. We've engineered truly exceptional cameras with dual optical image stabilization. Our intelligent software algorithms and multi-frame processing will remove noise and bring out natural textures and colors. The wide-angle camera utilizes every pixel in the sensor for faster and more accurate autofocus. To make the autofocus performance even more consistent and faster in challenging low-light conditions, we've also added a time-of-flight sensor. The ultra-wide camera uses intelligent lens distortion correction to help you capture the most natural pictures. You'll love how easy it is to capture dramatic, low-angle shots with the unique hinge on Duo. The telephoto camera has a focal length that professional photographers use to capture beautiful portraits. And our custom-built camera app will launch across both displays, giving you an instant preview of the shot that you just took so that your next shot is even better. We placed all editing controls on the left screen so that you can see the changes to the photo without covering it up. You can quickly crop, make some adjustments, press and hold to see if you like the changes, and apply filters. And you can write a personal note and send it to your teammates by dragging it right into your Teams chat. The pictures and videos that you can capture on Duo 2 are truly stunning, as are the range of dual screen experiences that only come to life on Surface Duo 2.
The experience on the Surface Duo 2 is smooth, fast, and responsive. I can quickly swipe to access my Microsoft feed, where I can see my most recently used documents, my tasks, my meetings, and my news, all in one view. I can also join my Teams meeting with a single tap. Now, I like to span my Teams app, which allows me to see both the video of the attendees and the content being presented. I can use my pen to contribute to our shared whiteboard session as well. I spend a lot of my time in email, and now I can set Duo to auto-span Outlook, so I can take advantage of both these screens on my phone to triage my email faster. For all our gamers out there, Game Pass delivers an amazing experience on Surface Duo 2. We've got more than 50 games with touch controls and more coming all the time. And thanks to 5G and high refresh rate Fusion displays, you can effortlessly stream Xbox games from the cloud or your own Xbox console right here on your Surface Duo 2. In partnership with Gameloft, we are today announcing 3 standalone games which are completely optimized for Surface Duo. Asphalt Legends 9, Modern Combat 5, and Dungeon Hunter 5. My Surface Duo 2 enables me to access all my phone content right on my Windows PC. The newly redesigned Your Phone app puts my Surface Duo notifications front and center. I can use all my Android apps from my phone directly on my PC. I can multitask, I can open different phone apps, each in their own window, and I can also pin my favorite apps to my taskbar for easy access. And it's easier than ever to move content between my devices. I can copy-paste content from my phone into my apps on Windows 11. It's a seamless way for me to stay productive between both my devices. Surface Duo 2 is for the creator in each of us. And we can't wait to see how you make it your own. Thank you.
Duo 2 is awesome. It is awesome. But there's still one last product I want to show you, and it's the most powerful Surface we've ever made. We made it for Windows 11. We made it for creators. We made it for this hybrid world. In essence, we made it for you. Take a look.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. You'll see, we'll defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to
I hope you love that video. It brings me back to the original studio, and it really just starts to show you this incredible product. With Surface Laptop Studio, we built on the heritage of both Surface Book and Surface Studio, bringing you the power of a desktop, but also that portability needed in a laptop, and then the creativity of a studio all in one. This is a product you put on your desk, you pull it towards you, and it starts to transform for creatives, professionals. It transforms for developers, gamers, video editors, and that performance, the power, everything you can take out of this device. We are in a time right now where we need to be able to move seamlessly from home to work, from office to office, and everywhere in between. And it really is incredibly simple to take your Surface Laptop Studio with you and then let it adapt to you, let it work with you, take the power of it, take the simplicity of it, take it in any form, and really what you can get done, what you can create, it's quite immense. Now, it's also gorgeous, which, you know, to me, like the details, they really come to life. When you open this product, it's just better if I'm showing you. I gotta show you the product. Chase, if you always said you can move with me, so how about you move with me? I love this stage, but let me just grab a device. Brittany, do you mind if I use your Surface? Just really, I just want to show the audience. And then, Bob, can I use your table? Because I'm just gonna step down here. Is the lighting okay if I come down here? And then should I use this camera, Paul?
Camera B.
Camera B. Oh, awesome. By the way, it's awesome back here, and it's so different, right, than being on the stage. It's so interesting. All right, let me, this camera here. Okay, take a look at the product. There's a couple of things to think about. The hardware, I mean, Windows 11, all of it kind of centers around you. When you get in, it's unbelievably fast. Instant on, Windows Hello 2.0 just logs you in. 14.4-inch pixel sense display. It acts as a 15-inch monitor to your eyes and to your work, but it feels portable like a 13-inch device. So you get both worlds of just what you need. You look at it as a laptop, which is this is where it starts. It is a laptop, so it has to type incredibly well. And I think this is the best keyboard I've put my hands on. And it sounds amazing, it feels amazing, the sound matters. And then the trackpad itself is so precise. It is our first haptic trackpad. Now, I'm gonna show you stage mode, but look how easy it is. Like anything, when you pull it towards you, anything you love, you pull towards you, it's emotional, right? So I pull this product towards me, and I get excited. I love it. I'm in stage mode here. This is a mode where you can now watch a movie, play a game, get on a call, and then so quickly and so smooth, you just fold it down. I wonder if we can get a shot from up top, if we can just take a look at it. When you're in studio mode, there is so much that can happen here. So this is when you want to be creative. But look, the pen is underneath. I'll pull it out. It's charging, never gets lost, always available. I open whiteboard. You can see how fast it is. When I draw, I can feel the haptic feedback. So it feels like I'm drawing on paper, and I can get to that precision that I want. And then ultimately, I can create. And then at any time, like a normal pen and paper, I can erase and get through it. I think this itself kind of brings you into the product in different ways. Then it clicks in. The pen goes underneath. You basically bring it back up from studio mode into laptop mode, and you're back into the form that you're so familiar with every day. Thank you for letting me use it. I absolutely love how versatile this device is and how versatile it can be. But I have to tell you, this product is a powerhouse. It's the combination of desktop-level CPU, of Intel's 11th Gen quad-core processor, and NVIDIA's RTX 3050 Ti GPU. They come together, giving you power needed for whatever you want to create. And it's a laptop. I mean, how amazing is that? Laptops are so essential today. They're essential to how we work, how we play, how we create, and most importantly, how we connect with each other. And whether that's on Teams, Zoom, WhatsApp, Laptop Studio takes it to the next level. Our new high-definition 1080p camera creates brighter, sharper images, especially in low-light conditions. And the experience, further enhanced by AI features developed specifically for Surface and Windows 11. Like our cloud-class face tracker, it perfects exposure and lighting for you on video calls, recognizing and enhancing your face in the toughest lighting conditions, no matter what you're wearing. Whether it's a hat, sunglasses, a mask, doesn't matter. What did I just say? When using this camera, you look great, and that matters. Our new studio mics are exactly what you need, with advanced echo control and full duplex, ensuring your voice is perfectly crystal clear on every single call you make. Now, even when two people are talking at the same time, or you're in a noisy environment, nothing drops. It's just clear. This entire device, there's so much that comes together on it. I think you're gonna love it. And now let me take a minute and talk to the devs out there. I wanna tell you how powerful Surface Laptop Studio can be specifically for you. I mean, this laptop, it can compile code like nobody's business. Our AI dev team created that face tracker. They used the GPU power on this machine to prototype out the neural network. And the results, I mean, they are stunning. When you use it, you'll feel it. Microsoft loves developers, we always have, and we want to empower you with the best tools to create, from AI to web to native apps. And with software like Windows 11 and now the hardware like Surface Laptop Studio, there is no limit to what you can do, nothing, no ceiling. And the best person to share that with you and tell you more about it, one of my favorite devs, Scott. Hey, Scott.
Hey friends, during the day at Microsoft, I'm a manager and a programmer, and I work on open source.NET and C#. But at night, I've got a blog and a podcast and a YouTube channel and even a TikTok that I work on. So I'll go from coding and writing specs to recording and editing videos. And I have to multitask pretty much all the time. I just love making stuff. Now this is the first Surface hardware that I've been involved in from the very start. Selfishly, I want a laptop that's got a ton of CPU and a ton of RAM because it all saves me time. And of all the laptops that I've used over the years, Laptop Studio is the only one that felt like it could keep up with me. In fact, here I am in Visual Studio 2022, and I'm actually working on my podcast website. I've even got Windows Terminal and the Windows subsystem for Linux. Here I'll go and do a full build of my website. When I got hands-on with this device for the first time, I realized that the Surface team gave me some great features that I didn't really know that I needed. This display is 120 hertz, and it's smoother than any other laptop I've used before. And this glass precision touchpad, it feels great. You know, it's the right size, it's really responsive. People who know me, they know that I like to customize things. I'm a proud member of Big Mouse Gang, so I've got a giant green cursor, but I've also customized my touchpad. I changed the haptic feedback the way I like it, so it feels really cool to click. Now, when it comes to performance, Surface Laptop Studio brings it. It builds source code fast as my desktop. My desktop can build ASP.NET from source in about 1:45. Laptop Studio does it in 1:15. It's got 32 gigs of RAM and a super fast SSD. It's built my website in just 8 seconds. The performance is bananas. Now, I love that I could be working anywhere while creating things, and then I can later dock in and I can multitask with more screen space. I'm gonna go and dock into my desk here. Look at that. Now that I'm fully docked at my desk, I've got 2 external 4K displays connected to the Surface dock. Or with this device, I've got Thunderbolt with even more options. Something I love doing when I'm docked is to put the Laptop Studio into stage mode. This way I can make the most of it, it's come closer to me, and it's very natural for me to be coding on my displays and then using my thumb to scroll through a web page that I'm referring to on Laptop Studio. I can even bring over my big keyboard and mouse, or I can grab my Surface Slim Pen that's been snugly recharging under here. You know, I'm gonna undock, because sometimes I don't find inspiration here, I'll find it somewhere else. It keeps things separate in my mind. So what I'm gonna do is also keep my virtual desktop separate. Right now I'm in the development desktop, and I'll use a 4-finger swipe to switch over to the video editing desktop. Now this is perfect. Now we can review the latest cut, and I can talk to someone and maybe make some edits on the fly. Now, I'm gonna do something non-typical. I'm gonna edit video with a pen. I'm gonna move the screen down into studio mode. And look, the Windows 11 UI changes. And here in Premiere Pro Beta, it changes too. It's aware, it knows. Now I can use the Slim Pad to move the playhead around. It's a really cool way to do something that's traditionally done with the mouse. Now, as I start to wind down for the night, I might close a few things so I can have some fun. I can take the Laptop Studio anywhere to game, and on this trip, I brought my Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. Here's Forza Horizon 5 running at 60 frames a second locally on high settings. This is a game-changer product for me. It's the fastest Surface I've ever owned. It's a great form factor. All this amazing hardware, plus Windows 11, it's a creator's dream. I hope you enjoy using the Surface Laptop Studio as much as I do. Thank you very much.
I hope you love everything you saw today. All these products will be available along with Windows 11 starting on October 5th. I'm so pumped. I can't wait for you to get your hands on these. You can go ahead and pre-order today. Now, it took thousands of people across Windows and Surface and Microsoft to pull these products together for you, and they put their heart, soul, their passion into it. These products reflect this team. I'm so grateful for what you do. And we want to thank you. Nothing inspires us more than watching you use products like these to change the world. And here to say a few words, Satya. Hey, Satya.
Thank you so much, Panos. The past 18 months have reminded us how essential the PC is to work, life, learning, and connecting. And with Windows 11, we have renewed sense of the role Windows plays in the world. It offers personal agency and real choice to users. It's a stage for the world's creation. It's a platform for platform creators. With each new generation of Windows, we also unlock the next generation of hardware innovation across our entire ecosystem. And with our Surface news today and the new devices many of our OEM partners have announced in recent weeks, we are seeing this come to life once again. For us, Surface has always been a catalyst for innovation across the entire ecosystem. It's pioneered new form factors, inspired new interaction models, and created entirely new categories of devices. And today, we're building on that legacy, advancing the two-in-one category, creating a new laptop category, and reimagining what you can do with 2 screens. But when it comes to innovation, we must advance both the frontiers of technology and its impact in the world. Technology for technology's sake serves no one. If you're serious about innovation, you must also be serious about accessibility for everyone and the sustainability of our most finite resource, our planet. To create a more accessible future, we need advances that help the more than 1 billion people with disabilities around the globe. It's why we're working to make every device more accessible without ever compromising on form or function. And to create a more sustainable future, we are committed to becoming carbon negative, zero waste, and water positive by 2030. You see this commitment reflected across the value chain, from sourcing of our materials to the packaging. Finally, we believe the cloud and edge AI together will define the future of every application. Take the laptop studio. With the AI models running on the device, combined with the power of Teams, we're able to optimize your voice, your video, no matter your background noise or lighting. These same advancements also apply to applications people use every day to create and connect across our ecosystem. Whether it's reframing videos in Adobe Premiere, creating music with StaffPad, or even reviewing an ultrasound with GE Healthcare's Voluson. This is just the start. I've been using Windows 11 on many of the devices you saw today, and I can't tell you how much of a game changer they have been for me. Ultimately, though, we build Windows for you, so you have the tools to dream big and turn those dreams into reality. We are so excited to see what each of you will create with these new devices and how together we will shape the next wave of computing for everyone. Thank you all so very much.
It all starts now.
Welcome back to CNET's live coverage of Microsoft's event. For those of you just joining us, I'm Ayaz. Here with me is Lexi and Bridget, and you. So we're going to run down everything we saw. There was a lot of stuff. I'll go in order. We'll throw it around. We got to get some information on pricing still, so just hang with us. Let's start with the order in which Panos came on screen. First up, he talks about Windows 11 partners. Anytime Microsoft comes out with hardware, they better make sure they pay lip service to the partners who are also putting Windows on their machine. So that's really nice. Panos Panay in a Zen mode the whole time. They said we're going to start with 8 accessories and devices for the Surface line. The Surface Pro lineup was the first thing. Surface Pro 8. We had an 11th gen Intel Evo platform, like the leak said, 16 hours of battery, 13-inch screen with Dolby Vision, 120 hertz refresh rate, adaptive color. That's kind of like True Tone on Macs. There's narrow bezels on the short sides. There's a new slim pen, too, that magnetically stores in the keyboard, a lot like the Pro X. And when you pick up the pen, Windows 11 brings you the pen menu. The pen has haptic feedback, so it feels like you're writing on paper. I thought that's kind of a cool idea. Thunderbolt 4. It looks pretty slick. It's got up to 32 gigabytes of RAM. And Lexi, what do you think about the new Surface Pro 8?
I mean, I think it was pretty much hit the nail on the head in terms of the rumors. I know that you were really excited about the slimmer bezels, the 120 hertz refresh rate, which I think were, to be expected, and I'm actually very excited about. I also did like the reveal of the slim pen too. I just felt like the reveal when it came up from basically hidden underneath where in the keyboard, and when you moved the screen, it just appeared. I thought that was a nice touch. I did feel like there was a lot of emphasis on the pen functionality, as you were talking about, and the references to the haptic feedback and the tactile response of the pen. I'm actually really interested in how many people are buying say this specifically for art usage, because I feel like that was a big focus of it. And I'm not entirely sure how many people are actually going to be using it to the maximum capacity of that. Or maybe there was a lot of emphasis there, and I feel like maybe we could have seen a little bit more about, some of the screen technology as well. But I think I was very pleased with, with what we saw. And I do like the fact, obviously, that we're getting Dolby Atmos and across a lot of different models. And yeah, I think the big question is price. I'm furiously refreshing the Microsoft site to try and find you information on base configurations, some of the other specs that we've been talking about, and of course the price. So I'll let you know if anything pops up in the next couple of minutes, because pre-orders are supposedly open today. So either that's now or
and every device
5 p.m. Who knows?
Every device is supposed to be available on October 5th with Windows 11, so that's pretty impressive too. Bridget, what do you think of the Surface Pro 8?
Oh yeah, I love the new keyboard, which is really like taking what we saw on the Surface Pro X and putting it with the Pro 8. I have played around with the Surface Pro X, so I do like that easy snap in your pen. Of course, all these things are sold separately, right? But I am interested in trying out that pen with the haptic feedback for sure. Although I also am just sitting here going, I want to see that Surface Laptop Studio, which also has a pen. So now I'm between the two, like, which is my favorite? I don't know. I think I'm going to go for that one that they spent a lot more time on at the end.
Yeah, right now you're seeing some footage that we got to see this product, or at least CNET's got it hands-on right now, and I believe that's maybe Dan Ackerman's hands. I'm not sure whose hands those are, but you can see it is a lot like the Surface Pro 8 is a lot like the Pro X with that new keyboard. There's the Studio laptop, not the Studio Junior. Sorry, the Laptop Studio, not the Studio Junior like we were joking about. That hinge goes all the way back. I will say that when Microsoft showed off showed it off as a laptop, and then you saw the person reaching for the very top of the screen, and then she finally clicks it so it tilts back, I actually audibly cheered. Now, I know we're talking about that in our back channels, but I really did cheer. I was very excited about this. Bridget, what did you think of the Surface Laptop Studio?
Oh yes, Studio Junior. No, I fell in love with it a little bit. I mean, Panos has a way of like making you go, okay, my life is gonna be better if I have this. Okay, someone on Twitter, this was tweeting us on the hashtag CNET Live account Judo313. He said Panos can sell water to a well, and it's true, but it's still very touching when he talks. I'm like, oh yes, bring it closer to you. Yes, I will bring things I love closer to me. Yes, bring the screen closer. But if I'm going to, I don't have the price right now. Any of you guys have the prices yet? Because I'm wondering, I'm sure it's up there, but I think I'd rather go for something that's a more hardcore product with the Studio that lets me do the, writing on the screen like that, than go with the Surface Pro 8.
Yeah, so the Surface Laptop Studio, not Duo. We'll talk about the Duo in a minute. Has an NVIDIA GeForce, I believe, had a discrete chip, graphics chip, 11th gen Intel chip, Thunderbolt 4, 14.4-inch touchscreen with 120 hertz refresh rate. That hinge was real. It's called the Studio. That Surface Pen magnetically attaches to the bottom of the device. There's a bit of a cutout on the base of it. It's got quad speakers, and Panos he had so many great one-liners in this. It might be a little bit insider baseball, but we've seen this enough from Panos Panay. He's the presenter that you saw at the beginning, at the end, other than Satya Nadella. He's got some lines like, I think this is the best keyboard I've had my hands on. I mean, that's something. There's haptic feedback on the trackpad. Lexi, what did you think of the Surface Laptop Studio? That's a mouthful still.
Yeah, I feel like that it's going to take a long time to actually remember how to say that in the way it's supposed to be formatted. I was very excited about this. I think that there is a big potential market for people that have kind of been tempted by this world of convertibles, not quite ready maybe for the detaching tablet style, as was the case with, say, like either a Pro or even the Surface Book of old. I again, the way that it was so funny, the little nuances in terms of the phrases that Panos was saying as he was talking about it. Bridget, I love pulling things that you love close to you was just like the perfect way to kind of describe that. I honestly, I honestly feel like this is going to be a product that is made or broken by its price. And I don't know what to kind of put. I think it's going to have to be right up there. I mean, is it going to be 2,000 plus US dollars? Is it going to be 2,500? Is it going to be 3,000? I don't know. I'm still, as I said, madly refreshing the pages, trying to get some pricing information for you. But I think there's going to be a lot of interest in this. Is it going to be immediately killed by a really high price? We'll have to wait and see.
That is also something of a strategy that Microsoft does use with higher priced devices, thereby not directly competing with Samsung or Dell or Alienware, which is part of Dell, or HP. So they'll have like this high-end product like the Surface Studio, the actual desktop, which I think starts at $3,500, which is a very, very high price. But it's essentially like a showcase for what Microsoft can do. So in one respect, they want to show what Windows could look like if somebody controlled it from end to end. They also don't want to annoy their partners. This has always been a concern for Microsoft from the very first piece of hardware they introduced. I believe that was 2012, so 9 years ago, the first Surface tablets. So whether or not the Surface Laptop Studio has a high price or not, I think it's definitely going to garner attention because you might be drawn in by that very unique style of laptop. And then you might end up getting a Surface Go 3. People were asking in the chat, was there a new Go? There is. They just mentioned it for like 2 lines. It's like, there's the new Go 3. It's got Intel's new chips, Windows 11. And hey, my kids are drawing something over there. That's essentially what happened with the Go. So there was just a spec bump. So the new version will be available on October 5th. They also spent some time on the Surface Adaptive Kit. I do want to talk about this because I thought this was something we don't really see much of in a lot of other presentations. The whole kit was about making the Surface devices easier to use. The kit comes in an easy to open packaging. There's stickers that can be attached to keyboards with different shapes and colors so that people can see or feel the differences in these different keys. There's keycap labels meant for the blind, port labels meant for cables. You attach a label to the device, you know where to go on that. A lanyard tab to pull the kickstand, which I thought was a really cool addition to this because one of the presenters was talking about opening up his laptop using a fork. So if you're going to make these devices, and Microsoft mentioned there's like 1 billion people who have these needs, that is pretty impressive. And one of the presenters mentioned, we're all going to get to this point at some point, which was true and horrifying, but true. Like we're all going to need like help eventually. So why not start now? So I thought this was such a very forward and I want to say almost touching moment of the presentation. I actually thought this was really great for including more and more people to be able to use these devices. You don't think about that if you can grab everything when you're young and you're able-bodied, but when there's something that's an issue, that could really stop your creativity or your wants to even try anything. Bridget, what did you think of that part of the presentation?
Oh, it was brilliant on Microsoft to not just be focusing on this, but like show and spend a lot of time on it too, to really help people understand why it's important. I definitely felt it got me in the feels, and it definitely made me happy to see for sure, because that's how we're gonna be better as a society, right? Bring this technology to everyone. So I like that a lot.
And Lexi?
I have some pricing information. Are we ready for pricing? I mean, yes, absolutely. I did absolutely love, as Bridget said, the accessibility talk. And one thing about, I was in our side chat during the event, we were just talking about, Microsoft has kept the same power adapter or power plug essentially for the Surface line. And I really don't like that. However, someone I think brought up a really good point in the chat at the time, saying, yeah, I mean, if for people that don't have a lot of control over things like fingers and stuff, it's actually the magnetic attachment of that is actually incredibly useful. And so that made me really open my eyes and think, absolutely, there's a huge market here for that, and made me love that adapter again. So I stand corrected. As much as I would like to see through USB-C, I'll keep it as is. But pricing, let's talk about that. So Are we going to take bets on the Surface Laptop Studio start price? What are we thinking? Ayaz, Bridget, I'll let you get your bets in, and then I'll tell you the actual start price of the base config.
Okay, I'm going to go with, now I have not seen the prices yet. This just came out, so I haven't refreshed anything. I'm going to say it is starting at $18.99.
Okay, Bridget, what's your guess?
We're talking about the studio.
The Surface
Gosh.
Laptop Studio, yes.
Yeah, it's got to be over 2,000. Or I'll do the Price is Right thing. $1. $1. I don't know. Tell me, Lexi, what is it?
$1. Okay. Well, okay. So you might be pleasantly surprised. The pre-orders will start for $1,599 US. Availability on October 5. That's the base configuration. So I was actually pleasantly surprised by that price as well. Let's switch to the Duo 2. Again, I'm not going to play the guessing game. I don't want to put anyone in, on the spot. But $1,499. So $1,500 US, like 100 more than the original. So there you go.
Wow, they must really believe in the Surface
Duo. You still got to buy that pen.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of money,
wow.
But so the fact that Samsung had been able to reduce the price of the Z Fold 3 by $200 year on year, and Microsoft has bumped it up $100. Let's be honest. On paper and from the demonstrations that we saw, I think the Duo 2 looks like a fantastic device, and it looks miles ahead of the original Duo. We can see some of the footage here. I'm very, very excited about this. The price, though, is somewhat off-putting. So it's really going to have to, hit the nail on the head in terms of performance. I would expect it would. What I was most surprised about during the video and the presentation was how responsive the interface looked during those demonstrations. And to me, I think if Microsoft can fix that and get the alignment of the screens, throwing apps between one screen and the other and making that entire screen, both of the screens work together really seamlessly, is it worth it? I don't know. But I'm super excited to see, because I think that was such a big improvement over the original.
Yeah, so it's got a $100 price bump, but there's also, speaking of bumps, there's a camera bump now on the rear. You have 3 cameras, an ultra wide, a wide, and a telephoto. So Microsoft's added something there. They also have the larger 8.3-inch screens. If you have them all laid out, it's 8.3. That's up from 8.1. So it's a larger screen. You get new cameras involved. You do have the Snapdragon 888 and 5G. That is a huge amount of spec bumps, and they're only charge another $99 for it. So if this device is optimized, if it can run really well, and if it's as snappy as it looked in the demos, I think it could make a difference. I really liked, this is something silly, I didn't think I would really think this is that big a deal, but that edge display, when you have it open, it looks like a book. When you have it closed, you have this edge display where you can see notifications, so you don't need to keep opening up the device to see what's going on with your Duo. It actually seemed like a good use of a curved screen. I've had curved screens on my Android devices for a long time, and it's nice. It doesn't really do anything. And I remember the old edge display. It's like, oh yeah, we have a little edge notification light. You can look at it. It's like, I can just look at the phone. Why would I need this? This is actually a real use case scenario where an edged a screen with a curved edge makes sense. That price, though, I think it's going to be a hard sell unless they're doing some, trade-ins, or they're doing something where it comes with a free Surface Go or something. I don't know. That's a hard price, especially with the competition out there. And Microsoft is still not known as a name in the phone business generally. Bridget, what did you think of the Duo 2?
They need to throw in that pen. I am so happy to see new types of technology, because we want to see something different. I'm living in 2 worlds. I'm loving the notification bar like you are, Ayaz. I thought that was very cool, especially the different approach they took to even have this little battery line across it. That was really cool. But then I'm watching this preview. There's a few things that are making me cringe a little bit, like they're kind of hitting something in the back of my brain. One is that almost every moment of demoing had the screen with doing 2 different things. So I'm kind of going, okay, yes, I know there's a big line in the middle. I know that this is for multitasking. Okay, I'm gonna have to get around that whole idea that like something's happening here while something's happening here, and your brain's gonna be split a little bit. But the thing that got me more was this idea that I love how beautiful it is, And I know that it's not for my lifestyle right now because I am someone who's clumsy. Yes, I put cases on everything. I have children who will want to grab it, and I keep thinking, oh, that camera. She's putting the camera on the table. It's probably got some wiggling on the table. Like it's not a flat edge. Like something in the back of my head is going off. Like it's not flat on the surface. But it looks really cool, like a little tiny, tablet. Gosh, I want to be able to touch it and see how it's like in person. And I really like how the pen attaches to the front. But I just keep thinking, this is for people who can just be calm and not have children around because it's going to break with all the things sticking out. It's going to get scratched. I just keep thinking about the worst case scenarios for that price, especially.
Maybe that'll be a feature of the Surface Duo 3. It's like the tough version because it is covered in Gorilla Glass. It says the toughest from Corning, which is probably Victus. I believe at this point, unless something has changed, that I believe is on a number of high-end devices, including the Fold 3, at least on the outside of it. So if it does drop, it should survive. Also, if they're talking about drawing, it's got a 90 hertz refresh rate. Not as high as the 120, but if you're drawing on it, that's not bad. And it's glass, right? So you got the Fold, and they're like, oh yeah, and we did a test where we made circles on a Fold 3 for 16 hours. Is that the right number, Bridget?
I think with the whole airing was that 18 hours, but I totally, like I like that it's hard for like, okay, I know that pen, that stylus is going to work. I don't have to have that question, when Samsung had their softer, whole setup because of the folding screen. But yeah, Samsung showed that they were very durable. So, these are for a productivity side. Like I do like that idea. I could just like, okay, click, grab, go, write something fast. I just write like with everything we saw with the Surface Duo, the first iteration, we want to see that response time really fly and have it be really smooth.
And let's wrap up because we've completely buried the lead with the Surface Ocean Mouse with 20% recycled material. This was actually something they spent time on in the presentation. They were like, we have 8 exciting devices and accessories. They got this ridiculous laptop. We got this new phone. We got a new Surface Pro. We got a mention of the Go. And then they mentioned a mouse with 20% recycled material. Lexi, can you bring us back to earth on this one? Because I feel like I'm throwing this thing under the bus. Like it's probably a good thing, right?
Well, of course, it's a good thing in terms of trying to help remove some plastic from our oceans and repurposing it into, consumer devices. The thing is, though, 20% is a relatively small amount. However, that being said, I'm glad that it's more than nothing. But I would have liked to have seen a couple more mentions of potentially other sustainability movements in terms of the actual products themselves. Imagine if they came out saying the Surface Laptop Studio, we've used recycled plastic, ocean plastic in, on the flip stand, or we've reduced plastic packaging in terms of what's being delivered in the box itself. I feel like sustainability always now gets a mention in every single vendor's keynote. Samsung does it. Apple recently said that they're going to remove the plastic on the iPhone, so when you don't get that nice ASMR unboxing effect anymore, supposedly. But, if Microsoft had something extra to say about that, I would have liked to have seen it. Again, I applaud any sustainability efforts. I would have just expected to see maybe a little bit more in terms of the products today, not just a mouse.
And to that point, I think that's why it stands out to me, because it's like the one device and it's 20% and that's it. It's not like a product line thing, sustainability forever for all our stuff. It's just, we got a mouse. Bridget, what do you think?
I'm with you guys because I have kids' toys here that are made from entirely recycled plastic milk jugs, so I'm like, this can be done. You could have done more. I mean, glad you're doing something. We all need to do something. But it was just a baby step right now. So looked decent. Let's do more. Bottom line.
And let's go around the horn for final thoughts. Lexi, what are your final thoughts on the Microsoft presentation, the Surface event?
Impressed by the Duo 2. I feel like there are a lot of refinements there that are going to make this a competitive device. However, the price $1,500 makes me cry a little bit inside. I'm hoping that maybe carrier support is going to get on board. Maybe we're going to see some other discounts, deals, trade-in offers, as you mentioned a bit earlier, because I think the carriers are also going to help sell this device if it's going to succeed, especially because Microsoft is now positioning it more as a phone. The opening shot was literally a guy holding the Duo to his head to take a phone call, which I found was hilarious because anyone who used the original Duo knows that that was really difficult to do. So I really think that there's a lot of potential there. The price I am concerned about, but I hope that it's a really, really strong device. The Laptop Studio is something I'm very excited to try, and the price on that one is actually surprisingly good, I think, for what's on offer. So again, the proof is in the pudding. I know we've got a bunch of some first hands-on impressions that are pretty much live right now on our YouTube channel, so you can go check those out. But overall, I was conservatively impressed, but worried about the price.
Bridget, final thoughts?
I too picked up on that whole phone thing. I thought that was interesting because even they said like this, we have made this phone. They're calling it a phone. So I would love to be able to spend some time with it, maybe give it a chance because I am rooting for some different tech like this. But at the end of the day, I go back to that Surface Studio, and I think this is the cool thing here. I didn't even really feel like Panos Panay was selling the Duo as much. And I wonder where Microsoft sees that's future. Whereas the Studio, I don't need to detach my computer screen anymore. I could just kind of put it there. It just seems so nice. It seems so nice and cool, and maybe my life will be better with it.
I think that these products were really interesting. I like when companies really try strange designs, things that might not hit right away. Hopefully Microsoft learned a lot of lessons from the original Surface Duo, so the Surface Duo 2's got some improvements about it. I do think that, to Lexi's point, if these devices are in stores, people will actually get their hands on them. I think the Surface Duo is a hard sell in the quarantine days when you're stuck and you can visualize it, you can see it, but you can't touch it. You don't have that tactile feel. And if people get into stores and they can play with it, they might actually be a little bit more up for it. But then again, it might be sitting next to the Fold 30 or the Flip, and that could change their mind. If my math is right, I believe the phone is $100 cheaper than the Laptop Studio, which is mind-boggling if you think about it, because that is a wild device. I applaud Microsoft for trying such interesting ideas. I think the Surface Pro 8 is a great iteration. Basically took the best of the Pro X and they shoved Intel into it, and it's better now. So I think overall they kept it short, so I like that. And the presentation was good. I like the inclusiveness. I'm really hoping these products are great. Not just concepts, but great. So I want to thank everybody for joining us here today. If you got questions and comments about Microsoft's event, you can let us know on Twitter. Check out our YouTube page. If you're watching us there, hit follow, ring the bell. You can watch more and more CNET news and reviews. We've got hands-on stuff right now for everyone here at CNET. I'm Mike, and thanks for watching.